The fading smile stands the woman at the center of today's story, Kyle Richards. During one of the darkest moments of her life, Kyle sat quietly in a hospital hallway, convinced, even if she never said it out loud, that she might lose the man she once called the center of her world, Mauricio Umansky. Their relationship for decades has had all the markings of a Hollywood romance. The beloved Beverly Hills power couple. The family everyone watched grow up on screen. The marriage that survived fame, pressure, real estate empires, and reality TV explosions. But what if I told you that everything we thought we knew barely scratches the surface? What if the glue that held this relationship together wasn't the glitz, but a moment of shared fear powerful enough to rewrite everything that came after? Because yes, the Umansky-Richards marriage we've seen shine on RHOBH for years was almost destroyed, quietly, invisibly, by something they couldn't see coming. This isn't a story about infidelity, not a scandal, not a storyline crafted for ratings. This is the story of a health scare, a late-night emotional breakdown, and the quiet, unrecorded moment when Kyle Richards made a promise that altered the course of their family forever. So if you've ever looked at someone you love and wondered, how would I survive losing you? This story is for you. Chapter 1: The Golden Couple. For more than 25 years, Mauricio Umansky and Kyle Richards have been one of Bravo's most iconic couples. We know the on-screen version, the red carpets, the vacation homes, the daughters they adore, the supportive partnership, the mansion makeovers, the glamorous lifestyle. On RHOBH, we saw laughter, banter, flirtiness, and that comfortable rhythm that comes from decades of living life side by side. They built an empire that looked effortless, a family brand that felt solid, reliable, and joyful. To many fans, they represented something rare, a marriage that survived Beverly Hills. But the truth? Every strong tree has roots that grow deep underground, and those roots are often shaped by storms no one ever sees. Storms that test, reshape, and sometimes nearly destroy. For Kyle and Mauricio, the storm didn't arrive with drama or cameras. It came quietly, on a totally ordinary weekday. Chapter 2: The Call That Changed Everything. It started like nothing. A normal workday. Meetings, showings, phone calls, the fast-paced routine of Mauricio's world. He brushed off the discomfort at first. A strange tightness in his chest. A heaviness when he tried to breathe deeply. A feeling he blamed on stress, exhaustion, even the pressure of leading one of the biggest real estate firms in Beverly Hills. He pushed through it, the way so many people do. But then suddenly, the symptoms worsened. He felt lightheaded. His breathing quickened. His chest tightened again, sharper this time. The signs were there, silent but serious. Mauricio didn't want to worry anyone, especially Kyle, who was juggling filming, family obligations, and her own growing list of responsibilities. But eventually, he made the one phone call no partner ever wants to make. And when Kyle picked up, everything in her world shifted. Within minutes, paramedics, doctors, and urgent voices were surrounding the situation. Words like observation, risk, restricted, and monitoring swirled around her, confusing and clinical. In a flash, the Beverly Hills lifestyle evaporated. No cameras, no glam squads, no elegant dinner parties. Just the cold, sterile reality of a medical unit and the steady beeping of machines. Kyle, the always composed, always smiling RHOBA veteran, found herself holding Mauricio's hand, still, quiet, frighteningly vulnerable, while watching numbers on a monitor dictate what might happen next. In that moment, the future without him felt unbearably real. And somewhere between those long, anxious hours, something inside her shifted. Chapter 3: The Promise Made in the Quiet. The long night in the hospital was nothing like the nights the world associates with them. No champagne, No celebrations, no lavish events. Just Kyle sitting beside the man she had built her entire adult life with, listening to the soft rhythm of his breathing, the sounds of medical equipment, and the racing thoughts inside her own mind. As she waited, memories flooded in. Their early days when they had very little, moving into their first home, the chaos of raising 4 daughters, the laughter at kitchen tables, the small moments that fame can make people forget. And somewhere in those memories, a realization hit Kyle hard, strong enough to feel like a physical blow. They had been putting everything off. They kept saying, when things slow down, when the kids are older, later when we have more time. But later never comes unless you claim it. So in the quiet of that hospital room, Kyle leaned close and made a promise, to him, but also to herself. No more waiting. No more letting life pass us by. Whatever came next, they would face it together. On purpose. Actively. Not as co-workers in a brand they built, but as partners rediscovering what it meant to choose each other again. Chapter 4. A new chapter begins. Mauricio recovered, slowly, carefully. But something fundamental changed in both of them. The crisis peeled away the surface of their lives, leaving only what mattered. Family. Time. Presence. Connection. Kyle wasn't interested in just going back to normal. Normal had allowed the distance to grow. Normal had buried them in responsibilities. Normal had nearly cost her the love of her life. So quietly, without telling the world at first, they began reshaping everything. They took more time alone together. They went on trips without the kids. They worked on projects that weren't about cameras, fame, or expectations. They chose to rebuild. Slowly. Deliberately. Honestly. And then came the decision that shocked fans everywhere. They bought a home far from Beverly Hills, not just a vacation spot, but a place to start fresh. It was rooted in the same promise Kyle made that night. Live now, not later. Chapter 5. What the cameras never showed. On RHOBH, viewers noticed changes. A different tone. A different energy. Moments of tension mixed with moments of tenderness. But what the cameras never captured was the private transformation happening behind closed doors. Mauricio was adjusting to the emotional weight of his health scare. A man who had built a reputation on strength, energy, and confidence was now navigating new vulnerability. Kyle had stepped into a new role, not just as wife or mother, but as caretaker, boundary setter, and emotional anchor. It was uncomfortable. It was imperfect. It was the kind of slow, difficult work that never makes it onto a reality show highlight reel. Their daughters, now grown, had moved out, leaving a quiet house full of memories, echoes, and the new questions that come with a partially empty nest. Without the noise of daily parenting, Kyle and Mauricio had to relearn each other, not as business partners, not as co-stars, but as two people trying to reconnect after almost losing everything. And that process wasn't glamorous. It wasn't red carpets. It wasn't picture-perfect Instagram moments. It was real life, messy, vulnerable, uncertain. But it was also the most honest chapter they had lived in years. Chapter 6. The Truth About Forever. People often assume long marriages last because of compatibility. But those who have lived it know the truth. They last because of work. Because of choice. Because of moments where, even when things feel broken or strained, you decide to stay and rebuild. Kyle and Mauricio reached that moment. The edge of what comes next. The doorway to a future that could have gone 2 very different ways. And standing at that crossroads, they chose each other. Not because things were perfect. Not because the world expected it. Not because a TV show needed a happy ending. They chose each other because when you nearly lose the person you built your life with, you see everything more clearly. They saw the love that was still there, the years they had invested, the family they had created, the dreams they hadn't yet lived. And they realize something many couples discover late in the journey. Forever isn't something you promise once. It's something you recommit to, over and over, especially when life tests you. Outro, the new light around them. So the next time you see Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky, whether it's on RTOBH, social media, or walking a red carpet, you may notice something different. Not perfection. Not the Instagram version of romance. But something deeper. A softer connection, a quieter bond, a love shaped not by fairy tale moments, but by a night that changed everything. They aren't flawless. They aren't untouched by struggle. They aren't immune to life's storms. They are still standing because they fought for it. Because they rebuilt when it would have been easier to walk away. Because they remembered what truly matters when the world falls silent. And that, more than any storyline, is their real legacy. A reminder that it's never too late to start over. Never too late to choose love again. Never too late to build a new chapter with the person you've shared your life with. This is the story behind the smile, behind the marriage, behind the couple millions thought they already knew. And now, you know the truth.